Hey, how are you guys doing? It's cold out there today. Make sure you put your plants away because it's cold out there today, folks. It's a real cold day in May. I'm trying to rhyme everything now.
Yeah.
So welcome to the Happening Show. It's of course off night. You're back again for off night. I got my Duck Donuts hat on that says the D, and I want to bring in the guy that's going to help you through this whole hour. The greatest stuff you can possibly imagine. Please, Mark Sweetman.
Hey, Andy Jensen, my friend and sidekick. There he is.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm going to slowly lower my Henry Mancini here. Still haven't heard from them.
No, that's good. That's okay. You know,
keep
they'll probably come up in a black limousine and a guy coming out to beat the crap out of you. You never know, you know?
We will keep opening with that until I get the cease and desist letter. I just like that song.
Okay, good.
It's called the Tiber Twist. Anyway.
Hey, how's it going?
Another off night. So it looks like we got a lot of topics. You know what I'm going to do? We've already did a pre-interview, so to speak, with you. Kind of know where you're at this week. So let's just bring Kathy in here. And let's do everything live. Because I want to talk about here she is, ladies and gentlemen, our journalist in the group, Kathy Ryan. Good to see you.
Journalist, yes.
Good evening.
How you doing, Kathy?
Good. How are you?
Back in Michigan. So I guess clubs are opening up. I know that my son in Los Angeles, who works in the restaurant field, is back full force after 14 months off.
Wow.
And my son, who works for the California Unemployment Agency, the state of California, in their unemployment office, has been getting 80 hours a week. So that even though people are back at work, people are also still getting laid off. So
yeah,
good to see the economy's back to the point that people can get laid off. You know, so
yeah.
And my teenage daughters have no idea what it's like to look for a job because they have a hissy fit at work, quit, and they go out and get another job the next day. Nobody seems to care that nobody can stand. You know, and I see a lot of chatter in my local community Facebook group about, we can't keep people. Nobody wants to work, and it's like they're all saying, oh, yeah, it's because they pay them so much in unemployment. My kids don't get unemployment. They've never worked long enough anywhere to get unemployment. Yeah. And the thing that's keeping them from working is if they don't make enough money, they're making $12 an hour, which I think is,
still low.
It's still low, but it's not enough to keep them from, you got to treat people decent. You just can't expect. And I don't know what it's going to take. I mean, I'd like to see, as a working man, I'd like to see them go to some kind of a equity stake in companies, something. I mean, even if, you know what I mean? In other words, if you could, if every job could be like a co-op and you earn credits for what you learn and things like that, just something that you can point to. Otherwise you're just doing what the boss says all the time. And then you run into personality problems.
Yeah.
And God knows I've worked for some assholes, so I know what that's all about.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
To me, the asshole thing is that, you got a pandemic. It's not a human designed, unemployment thing. It's a pandemic. It's a pandemic. Nobody should be working. And it's like, I'm not working because I don't want to get sick and die. I left my job and basically I was employment up to 80 different people. And it's like forcing people who are young and having to go out there and then have to work in a dangerous situation, not pay them. I mean, it doesn't take a brain, and the idea that you're overpaying people. We're still not out of the pandemic. We have another month to go.
Yeah, my two youngest sons work.
Go ahead.
My two youngest sons work together, and they work in a sandwich shop because they're both still college students, right? They're not. It's not a career job, but they're just doing it because they get the hours they need, and they get the hour, and they give them off time when they need off time. You know, it's very flexible hours. And they said the hardest part, and they worked all the way through because they worked for a sandwich shop, and all they did was cancel. You know, took all the seats and the tables and chairs out. And you go in, you just keep 6 feet apart, and everybody still orders the same way. You know, they never had table service anyway. Everybody ordered at the counter and took it to the table anyway. So it's not like they had any waitresses or anything. And they said the hardest part about their job the last 14 months has been asking people to put their mask on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know, they, you know, I love I gave them some of the responses I gave them when I worked at McDonald's, you know, when I was trying to get fired from McDonald's. You know, somebody would say, you know, they'd want a Big Mac, and you'd tell them it was 95 cents. They go, well, the Whopper's only 80 cents. I go, well, I could tell you this, Whopper is sold at the Burger King, and that's down the street over there. So
yeah.
So they get to use lines like, well, all I can, you know, well, if Subway does that, all I can say is there's a Subway right across the street, right over there. You know, hop in your damn car and drive over there and do it, because let's see if they'll let you in there without a mask. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, as a Lyft driver, you're at the mercy of the people coming in the door. So you're kind of like you're isolated, and you're trying to enforce some rule from somebody back in San Francisco. You know, it's like, so you have no backup, and you're out there and you got people yelling at you. You got people, you know, the whole thing was absolutely ridiculous. And I watched videos of guys getting beat up because they asked people for putting masks on.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not worth it. If they don't change the thing, it's not going to be worth it, you know?
Yeah. It's like, what the hell is wrong with people? Just put a mask on. You can't come in without a shirt or shoes. Put a mask on.
You know what it says?
I'm really pissed off that the people who don't actually do this stuff are always complaining that, oh, they're just lazy. They're just staying at home.
Yeah.
You know, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. My 13-month plan actually worked. I had to go in. I was under duress. I had to wait 13 months for a vaccine to be made, you know?
Yeah.
And I did my patriotic duty by staying inside for a full year, you know?
Yeah.
Right. Now, how did you do for income? Did you have to apply for a PPP loan, or how did you?
Well, the whole thing was a PUA. If it wasn't for the PUA, I would have been screwed. Because the PUA was set up for people like the Lyft drivers who are online.
Right.
So it's like, so the Lyft driver was able to get me through. Then they added on some of the unemployment aspects of it. And so that got me through. I'm coming close to the end of that, but I'm at a point where I have the vaccine. Yeah. And I can actually go starting to work or find work as a delivery person or something. Now, I do not want to deal with people.
How's your community doing with vaccinations? Because I know my community is, you know, pretty high as far as in the state is pretty highly vaccinated, considering how Republican we are here. You know, and the thing is, it's the idiots that aren't getting vaccinated. And I was going to say,
educated communities are being are being vaccinated. You can, you know, look at the map of the United States and where are there no vaccines? Down in the South. You know, and they're not the brightest bunch in Mississippi, I can assure you.
And this is going to sound wicked, but I wanted to just weigh it against what the other side says about us, right? We're destroying America, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Isn't there a way that we can just sit back for 5 months and let them get the virus? Why everybody says, oh, well, we can't let them get the virus because then other people will get it that don't deserve. And I said, you know what? Don't get the vaccine. You deserve to get the virus. I want you to die. You know, I mean, I don't want you on the planet anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I think
that sounds wrong because you're saying you want somebody to die. But here, I tell you this, it proves to me we will never win another war. We will never, ever win.
No, nobody's going to make it.
We will never win another war. There is no way in this world that this country will ever get into an armed conflict and win. It is not going to.
what were some of the memes that, your grandfather and father slogged through water and mud for 2-3 years at a time? We're asking you to sit on the couch for 6 months. Can you handle that?
Well, and it's not just that we don't have the temerity that our fathers and grandfathers did, but we are just so divided. I mean, and that people would believe because their guy lost, they would believe that it was stolen.
He didn't lose. Yeah.
I mean, I want those people to die. If we were in war against the Nazis and against the Japanese, and we had this, nobody would say, "Don't use this." We use an atomic bomb, for Christ's sake. We use an atomic bomb, and if we had that option today, our country would be divided over whether we should win the war or not. We will never win another war. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Anyways, I mentioned to you guys, I didn't mention to the audience that Sammy said he'd be a little bit late today. So I don't know what's, I know his daughter's moving. His daughter, they're going through the process of moving their daughter out of their, I don't know if that's such a good deal. I'm thinking about my son who's had to move back into our apartment after he moved out and had a bad roommate situation. Sammy's daughter has 3 roommates, so we'll see how well that goes. I guess if you're a young woman in Manhattan, that may work out. Didn't work out so well in Northville, Michigan. He found out that his best buddy, who was going to split rent with him, turned out to be a bit of a slob. So,
oh yes, there are the people who soak and the people who wash. There's the soakers and there's the washers.
Well, my granddaughter had a similar incident down in Tennessee with her roommate, who she also had to work with. And at some point she called me and said, "Oh my God, she's bitching at me for not washing my breakfast dishes." Now, Kaylee's not the neatest person in the whole world. And I said, "Well, Kaylee, you got to wash your dishes." She said, "I'm still eating." Okay, you got a point.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gone to the urban bachelor where I'm almost tempted to even bypass everything, just eat out of the pot.
Yeah,
you eat right out of the pot. Put it on a hat flick, and that's all you and then you clean that.
That's half the fun of living alone. You can eat with your fingers. You can do whatever you want.
I'm all for that. And you know what? As it turns out, if I just ate fresh fruits and vegetables, my doctor would love me. He would.
Yeah.
And those are the easiest things. I mean, sometimes you don't even have to cook those; just eat them raw. Yeah.
I've got some tomatoes sitting in this great balsamic vinegar. Can we move the show along, because they're about ready for me to eat?
we had about 3 dozen tomatoes given to us by a neighbor. We've got the guy that he's one door over on 6 Mile, but he's really across the street from us because he's across the cross street. We're on a corner.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's an old Italian guy, and he thinks that we've been neighbors now for 21 years, and for some reason he thinks that our Italian has gotten better than his English for some reason. So,
well, what are the odds?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, he was old when we moved in, and he's 21 years older now, so he's got to be in the 90s. But he's got, he's got a famous garden. Everybody in the neighborhood knows this guy because he just overproduces, and he can't eat everything.
Yeah.
So we got a bunch of. I call them winter tomatoes because the good one. These aren't even the good ones, and so they weren't like yummy, and the kids didn't like them. So I said, what's going to make these good? We'll just make a chili out of these.
Oh yeah.
So we did. We got some beans, and we got a stockpile of stuff that we rotate. We started that for the Y2K disaster. Yeah. What we thought 2020. We thought 2000 was going to be what 2020 was.
Exactly.
And not being able to get enough. And so we had everything. I remember the joke I used to do about that was I had a neighbor, and he had wood piled up against his fence on 3/4 of the yard. And he'd come out and he goes, "Aren't you going to stockpile wood?" I go, "What for?" He goes, "Well, when Y2K comes and you got to have, fuel for your fireplace." And I said, "I know where to get wood." Guy next door to me, he's got a whole shitload of it sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we don't have Sam here to control the conversation, so want to get to the events of the day. I guess the big story, is the Kentucky Derby. Did you put money on that, Andy?
I did not. I'm actually working my way up through the baseball system, but
Okay.
I found the Kentucky Derby to be out of range for what I was planning on doing. So go ahead.
Now, I'm not a gambler, and I've sort of taken to horse racing and I haven't made any bets yet without my wife. And my wife is a horse person, so the only time, except for the Kentucky Derby, and she did make a bet this year, the only time we bet is over at Northville Downs when she can get right on the track, and we go over by the stables and we look at and she looks at like how the horses are behaving coming out of the stable and how they're getting, if they're comfortable. And everybody's got every rider has their own chariot, and sometimes their horses have their own. And there's one rider at Northville this year. He's won. I think he's been in 8 races. Other guys, you look at their record and it's like, oh, this guy's run 160 races and he's won 50%. Well, he's a pretty good rider. But then there's this one guy, he's only run 8 races and he's won 8 of them. So and he either trains the horse or he picks the horse. He's going to be on it. And so she's like really into that. And it's a lot of the stuff that she wagers on is what she sees in person with and you can look at when you look at the sheet that they give you.
How well does she do?
She isn't losing money, but we're not gonna retire off of it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's fun. It's fun because you wager on, what you think, and it's like, and I don't. My way of thinking is I would bet the trifecta every race because maybe I only win once a year, but that once a year evens everything out for the whole year. If you win twice a year, if you win twice a year, maybe you can go somewhere on holiday or something. So those are hard bets to win because you're asking. It's hard enough to bet the winner. You're asking to bet the winner, second place, and show all in a row. So that's my kind of betting, and that way. If you don't win, it's kind of like, what were the odds? The odds were so great that, there wasn't a chance I was going to win. But anyway, and when we go to Northville Downs, she'll, we bet that we went to opening day this year and she bet like $20 and we came away with 18. So we lost 2. And so you make $21 bets and you only lost $2. They don't charge you. Horse racing is so such a non-event compared to what it was when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
That for us to do that, that's a big deal.
Sure.
But she did bet. She bet. Now here's what's interesting. Oh, you know what? Sammy's here. Let's get Sammy in on this because we just started talking about topics.
Hi,
Sammy.
everybody.
Hey,
Sam Greenfield, our Bon Van
My wife was setting up my new laptop, and I am ignorant in the ways of that. So she justifiably said, "No, you're not walking away, bitch." So actually, that's what I would have said. But but it's virtually set up now. I just hate that friendly voice. I don't recognize you. Okay, so but it's all done now. So thank God she's here. So happy Mother's Day, Kathy.
Oh, thank you. It's a hell of a lot to go through just to have something to do on Mother's Day. Let me assure you.
That's a good way of putting it.
So we're talking about horse racing?
Why did I do this? To have something to do on Mother's Day.
Exactly.
So we're talking about horse racing?
My kids pulled through. Well, I was getting into the controversy, but we talking a little bit about gambling. My wife every year puts a wager on the Kentucky Derby. And like at the live track, she's about, I guess money wise, she hasn't won that many times, but the horses she's picked over the years have returned with good odds. I mean, she picks if like Baffert's horse was 12-1. She didn't pick that horse, but I mean, she's picked horses.
Did you hear his rationale for what happened?
No.
Yeah, he's part of the cancel culture.
He said that either a stable hand or a jockey or somebody had taken drugs and had taken a leak in the horse's stall in the hay, and then the horse ate the hay, and that's how this happened. I swear to God, that's what he
happens
said.
all the time. Happens all the time.
Happens all the time. Yeah.
Yes, just yesterday I was eating drug-laden hay.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. There you go.
And he's been nailed for this a lot.
This year,
exactly.
six times just this year.
Yeah.
Try again, Bob. Well, I've owned several actually off the track thoroughbreds that have raced, and then
really?
Yeah,
wow.
And then we train them for hunter and jumper, show ring horses, and they're unique. They're called OTTBs, and they're kind of unique, all on their own. They're
you know Mark Klein, right?
Who?
No.
Mark Klein, Louisville comic.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know Mark Klein.
So
sure.
He's a big horse racing fan. So he and I were working together once.
He owns horses
actually more than once, but in this particular case,
at Churchill Downs.
Yeah, so he took me to Churchill Downs, not during the Derby, but and we bet some ponies, and it's certainly not as crowded as it is on Derby Day.
No.
So I was sitting next to him, literally next to him, and he evidently believes in, and please forgive me, he believes in the concept of the homo seat. So you can't sit next to another man. Okay. So I mean, this is years ago. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of the homo seat since the Poseidon adventure was in the first round.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's not the homo seat. That's the fat ass seat. I'm sorry.
Yes, exactly. That's the Shelley Winters seat. So
that's exactly. There you go.
So we're sitting next to each other, and he looks at me, and I'll never forget this. I love this guy. He looks at me and says, "Sam, unless we're picking out furniture tomorrow, could you slide over one?" I'd never heard of the concept in my life. In my life. You saw what Trump wrote about the Kentucky Derby, right?
What did he say?
So pathetic. I'm going to paraphrase so no one throws up. But he says, well, our Kentucky Derby, our Kentucky Derby was ruined by a junkie horse. And we are now a laughing stock of the world, and our borders are still not secure. Our country is a laughing stock. And what else was it? And partly because of the fraudulent election. Yeah. So I'm going to do a Instagram in a couple when we're done here, and it's essentially going to say this: number one, you misspelled junkie. Okay, it's IE. Number two, a horse can't be a junkie. A horse is not looking for the drugs. The horse was given the drugs. Number three, country does not get capitalized. 4, borders does not get capitalized. 5, we are no longer a laughing stock of the world because you're not in the White House.
Yeah.
6, you lost the election. And 7, you're really fat.
but we know for certain you wrote this by all of the typos in it.
There's no proofing. No proofreading.
No.
He actually, and also, he wrote it because he threw in the election fraud.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But I did read something that should give you heart, should give you hope. 58%, this is a big change. 58% of Republicans now identify themselves as Republicans, not Trump supporters.
Oh, thank God.
That's a change.
Yeah, true.
I tell you what, here in Michigan, and Kathy and Andy can back me up, but Sam, here in Michigan, the Democrats have started to complain that they need an opposition party that they can deal with. I mean, because
the Republicans are insane.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes, they need it. In other words, we would like to see the Republican Party fail, but not to the point where we have no opposition. I mean, it ruins their credibility by having somebody who's so incredible on the other side.
Yeah.
I think be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, that's true.
If they're going if they're going to roll around in gasoline and ask you for a match, give them the match.
Give me the match.
Yeah.
We already you weren't here for my segment when I already went off on the people that won't get the vaccine because they support Trump or the Republican or whatever. I want them to not.
Herd.
That's what I say too. I mean,
thoughts and prayers, baby. Thoughts and prayers.
You're a disease-spreading piece of garbage. Piece of garbage. God, I hope my wife doesn't walk by. She's going to think I'm talking to you guys. But you're a disease, and you don't, you want to risk it, fine. Okay, you think God will take care of you, fine. Fine. Yeah, die with Jim Baker. Just die.
Yes,
Jim
exactly.
Jim Baker won't die, so don't go there. Jim Baker will not.
Who?
Die. Jim Baker will not die. He just keeps going and going.
He's 81.
Yeah,
really.
He doesn't look that bad for 81 either, to tell you the truth.
You know what he looks like? He looks like Geppetto.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's had more work done on his face than. Jeez. When he and Tammy Faye Baker worked for Pat Robertson, they were in Virginia Beach, and they had a puppet show. That was their show, with religious overtones. Mm-hmm. They were so horrible to work with that when they left to go out on their own, their staff held a party and burned the puppets. Now, I've heard, I don't know if this part is true, but I'm not kidding when I say this, I heard they tied the puppets to a stake and burned them.
I like that.
Wow.
But not before they made their faces look like Jim and Tammy Faye.
Mm-hmm. I actually felt sorry for her because she was kind of a dimwit. She married this guy. She was actually, she was religious. She fell into this crap with him, and she died a horrible death. Horrible.
Yeah, good.
So
now, he was from Michigan. Was she from Michigan too?
Huh?
He was from Michigan. Was she from Michigan too?
Yeah, I think she is too.
Yeah.
I don't feel sorry for her dying that horrible death when what she did to all the people that she fleeced, all those poor old ladies that she was fleecing out of their money. And
where are those people's grandkids and kids? Where
I believe they're the ones in the
I gotta pay $500 to the Lord. What?
Yeah.
Well, now they're giving their money to Trump, and they're wearing MAGA hats. So
exactly. Yeah.
This is why well, there's many reasons why they're stupid, but this is to me the main way they're stupid. None of them take the time to go, why am I sending a check to a billionaire?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, finance yourself.
Yeah. Well, they're buying pillows from Mike Lindell too. Now God, did you see that last statement he put out about, that guy from Dominion, he just turn himself in. He'll only get 10 to 20 years. We've got all the evidence on him. He should just turn himself in.
All right, one last thing about the Kentucky Derby, then we'll go on. The reason I was telling you about my wife was she had bet on the 4th place horse to show. So she had bet, and if they had counted that guy out before that, the horse out before a week later, she would have won. She would have had another winner this year because she bet.
I read somewhere that the Kentucky Derby officials told the runner-up, "No, this doesn't mean you win."
Exactly. Yeah.
It doesn't.
So who won?
Well, no. I think it does. No, I think it means he wins, but no. If you bet on him to win, you don't get to collect your money.
The prize money is pulled from the winning horse. All the betting stays the way it was. You took that gamble, and no matter how crooked it is, you have to go according to the crooked results.
Oh my God!
The horse that wins the Kentucky Derby, however, is also in that $10 million prize for the Triple Crown. That is bank sponsors.
Now, that horse. I'm sorry. Has Bafford's horse been disqualified?
Not yet.
Not yet.
They split. What they do is they take the sample and they split it, and they test it. If it's positive, if it's negative, no problem. They throw the other part away. If it's positive, though, they test the other half of the sample that they took to see.
But what I understand is that there's a certain level that you can have this drug is actually legal.
Yeah. This particular drug
had more in than it should have had.
So the horse can be drugged.
So here's a couple
and not get disqualified.
Yeah. Yes, you can.
Well, but they're not supposed to use the drug for 2 weeks before the race.
I heard it was 1 week, but
I think it was 2, because that way it would dissolve out of its system, and if you had a trace amount of 3 or 4, then that's why. Yeah, anyway, but he had an amount of 21.
So what'll happen is horses, if he's disqualified, horse number 2 will then be declared the winner of the Kentucky Derby, and then
won't collect the purse.
Will collect the purse. It's the game.
Yeah,
will.
They will collect the purse.
The
betters out. The purse that they
see.
Collect,
okay, so the
purse is set.
The horse's owner gets the money, but if you bet on him to win, you don't win the money.
No,
you don't win the money. And the reason that is because the purses are all set ahead of time. You are going to win whatever it is you're going to win for the Kentucky Derby, no matter how much is bet. The gamblers, though, are on a pari-mutuel basis, which means the more that's bet on the race, the bigger the pot is for you to win or take your share of.
Excuse me for interrupting, but am I the only one for whom Mark's image is flickering?
No,
mine's not.
Your image is flickering. The screen is flickering.
No, I don't have a flicker.
Mine looks good. Just mine? Everyone else's?
No one else's.
Everyone looks good to me.
My friend Flicker.
My friend Flickin'.
My friend Flicker. There you go.
No, you know what I could do?
It's all right. I'm just grateful I don't have epilepsy, or I'd be on the floor right now convulsing.
There you go.
But
well, I have a strobe light if you need it. So.
Andy, you're always there for me.
I understand.
I
understand horse race betting more than understand others, which is why I'm always interested in Andy's gambling, because he doesn't bet on horses, and so I'm always interested in how he does.
No.
Do you play poker, Andy?
I do not play poker. What this has been lately is sort of it's been sports. Okay. So I don't do that. So the thing is, right lately I've been doing baseball gambling. And how that goes is this: I look at the standings, I look at who's playing. If the team that's on the bottom of the standings is playing a team that's on the top of the standings, I'll vote for the team on top of the standings.
Now it sounds like we're all talking through a busted tube.
Uh-oh.
You want to do your
really bad.
You want to do your log off, log back in like we do every week?
Wow. I can't understand anybody.
Uh-oh.
Say goodnight, Sam.
You're fine. You're fine on our end. All you need to do is reconnect them.
Should I start over? I mean, because it really sounds bad.
Yeah.
Try it again.
Go ahead.
Right, I'm going to go away, and I'll be right back.
Reboot.
My dad.
All right. We'll look for him to come back. Well, here's the baseball bet that I like. I like, as far as not being a gambler, and what I see is I always want to.
The key is don't watch the games. That's the key.
I don't think I need to watch the games, because what I want to look for, I want to look for the game that's got a pitching situation and either a very low or a very high over and under. Do you ever bet over and under?
Yeah. I have tried the over and under. I've done pretty well at that.
And what they do is here's what they do with over and under. Here's what the houses do when they're setting that number. They're looking at how many runs a team and a pitcher give up. But what I'm looking for is how many innings that pitcher pitches and how good the bullpen is that comes in after him. Because if we're talking about a team like that I follow, the Tigers, their starting pitching has done pretty well this year. And their bullpen sucks. Their bullpen is for shit. So what I'm looking for is somebody that's got a low over and under, which I think 7 is kind of low for over under. That would be a 4-3 game, right? Typical game. And I want to see that it's a pitcher that doesn't go really more than 5 or 6 innings. And
none of them do now.
I know. But what I want to see is how much of the bullpen was used the last day, because sometimes you don't have a whole bullpen to use when you've used a lot of pitchers the day before. And I don't think they always factor that in when they're figuring out the high-low. So that's the type of thing. Rather than bet on a win or luck is in, I can still bet on my team to win. I just want the score to be high,
There you go. Oh, yeah. I understand the over and under stuff, but I guess all I'm doing is the simple parlays, and that's it. You have 2 teams,
right?
You put them together and find out which 2 teams are going to win. And then it's not a big win, but if you can consistently do it, you can actually add money. So I've done it. It hasn't been bad. It's actually been fairly well. I went on, I usually go with 3 different teams.
All right.
And I bet on those 3 teams, and generally the payout is fairly good. So, and it's a matter of, mostly it's a matter of statistics,
Huh.
Except for the Tigers. They have been so good to me because they have been losing consistently.
You're the one.
Yeah.
You can bet on the Tigers, and you're going to win if you don't bet on them. Bet on them losing, and you will win every time.
I want everybody to know that I just got a text. I thought you'd get a laugh out of this. Mark knows me better than any of you, but I think you'll all get a laugh out of this since you've kind of gotten to know me over these months. Sam, a new job has come up that is perfect for you. Software Ibon is looking for a product consumer specialist. So I'm going to text them back and say, you could throw a dart in a bar and the person you hit would be more qualified than me.
Can you help me reboot my computer?
Yeah, I couldn't set up my laptop without I didn't set it up. My wife did. Okay, that's where I'm at. And the reason I got up a second ago is because the cat is getting near the laptop and my wife won't let me kill him. So I have to, She gets very upset if she sees me with like a knife walking towards him, and I'm trying to teach him self-defense.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to other things in our discussion of the week's events. The Biden just before we went on, Biden came up in the White House, and the vice president was with him, and he says that there's no evidence that Russia had anything to do with the cyber attack.
It was gangsters
on Colonial, yeah.
But as my wife said, did you hear Putin say we're going to get to the bottom of it? No.
Yeah.
No.
What can we do to help, Joe? Yeah.
Yeah. So it was gangsters, but he's a gangster.
Yeah.
So
essentially, this is about the oil situation.
Yeah.
The oil line. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I think that he won't do this, but if I was Biden, which is why I'm not president, I would have said there is no proof whatsoever that the country of Russia had anything to do with this. In spite of that, we're still going to do everything in our power to economically cripple them.
Yeah. Yeah. What's left of
so
them.
That people get so pissed off they'll overthrow him.
Yeah.
That is such a large, vast geographical area that I'm surprised they haven't split up to begin with.
Well,
I mean, you've got a lot of different.
It's not as big as it was when it was the Soviet Union. They had 11 time zones.
Yeah,
and I'm sure it's like 7 now. But they don't have Turkmenistan and Kazakhstan and all those things. But
you remember that it's still the northern part of the country of Russia. It's only lopped off on the Europe end of it. On the Europe side, that's only one or two time zones that got lopped off by losing the Eastern Front. Anyway, so that's not that appears to be gangsters. My solution. Again, I'll repeat it. I think I've said it here before. I think the whole cyber identity thing needs to have a space program type redo. And I don't care how they do it. I know a lot of people don't want to be identified by anything other than numbers, but I'm okay with biomarkers and whatever, retinal scans or whatever you need to do, but
fingerprints,
whatever. They got to get away from. In fact, this whole, if they want to make sure everybody's voting legally, go ahead and do an eye print or a fingerprint for everybody. Then watch the Republicans have a shit fit, because they don't want to be identified. Oh, really? Yeah. You want to restrict? You're saying that the wrong people are voting, so you're going to restrict the time of day they can vote? Well, how about we get your fingerprint? Huh? How about we get an eye print from you? Then you can vote.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be like, this right into the old 1984 thing. You know how to combat this thing? This is what you need. This and this. That's how you get rid of cyber attacks. There we go.
Piece of paper. I'm okay with that. But you know what? I mean, write
down how much you're paying.
Here's another thing too. If you're going to use pen and paper, I want the pen and the paper to be exactly the same across the country. Make it a national pen. Make it the same ballot. In other words, the same ballot read in by and now you can have all the machines you want, but it's got to be able to read that same ballot. I think and we have the technology for all this. That ballot goes in, it's read, your vote is recorded, and you can go in, and you and only you, because you've given it the identifier, can go in to see your ballot. So if you're worried that somebody's changed your ballot, you can see your ballot and how it's counted, and have a live count. I also want a live census. I want to have a census where everybody is counted continually all the time. And have the cutoff date. It's not going to be election day. I want election month. I want to go from October 1st to the first Tuesday in November. And
there's no reason to have it on one day anymore.
And everybody says, well, it's in the Constitution. Well, fuck it. We got 29
so
amendments.
Was slavery.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm okay having a I don't know. Let me
see. Sam's coming back.
Yeah, now we're gonna watch his, we're gonna watch his emoji vibrate now.
The HAL 9000 is coming back. There we go.
I'm sorry.
Wait a minute.
Wait, here comes the picture.
I'm entering a broadcast studio, it says.
Oh,
now,
good.
Here we go.
Oh, there we go.
And there's my little there we go.
There he is.
I'm sorry. I read an article that just so seized me that Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez are dating again.
Bennifer is back. Bennifer, yep.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Wow. I think he's a brilliant talent. I think he's a great director. If you saw The Town.
Yeah, but he's a schmuck of a human being.
That's correct.
Oh,
yeah. Jennifer
I like
Garner
this.
wasn't enough.
What he won the Oscar for? What was that one?
The Town was good.
What's that? What's the one he won the Oscar
Garner
for?
Wasn't enough.
About the fake movie, and that was a fake movie.
The what?
Yeah, the one he won the Oscar for about getting the people out of Iran. What was that? I can't remember that
Argo.
film.
Yeah, John Goodman.
Argo.
It was
a good film.
Argyle. There you go.
He
Argo.
ruined a great joke for I can't remember the guy's name, but he was a ventriloquist. His puppet's name was Chuck Wood.
Oh, Dave Strassman.
Thank you. He had a great joke where the puppet would say to somebody in the audience, knock, knock, who's there? Argo. Argo who? Argo fuck yourself.
Argo
and
fuck yourself.
And David would get upset, right? Really get upset. Right. And he'd say, all right, I'm sorry. I'll make it up to you. Here we go. Knock, knock. Guy would say, in the audience, who's there? Einstein. Einstein who? Argo fuck yourself. And so now that joke is dead now. Dead.
Dead.
Yeah, well.
Completely dead.
I worked with him, and in the same week, it was me, Dave and Chuck, and Pat Paulson.
Oh, geez.
No.
And Paulson was delightful. We stayed in there used to be a club. I think it lasted less time than we've been on the air tonight. They gave us this gorgeous 3-bedroom condo. Beautiful. with, like your bedroom's over here and yours, it was wonderful.
Yeah.
And so we go shopping for food, and I said, I'll cook. And so Pat Paulson said, well, I'm paying for this. You guys, no, this is bullshit. You're not going to spend a dime. So, which was very sweet of him.
Yeah.
And so on the way back to the condo, he says something. He goes, I really hope we don't get into a traffic accident that kills all of us. I said, well, of course. And I says, no, you don't understand. The headline's going to read Pat Paulson and others. And he knew so much. He was so funny. He knew so much dirt. I mean, just little incidental stuff. Like he said, one of my best friends in Hollywood, and this is how he said it. One of my best friends in Hollywood was Will Geer, one of the nicest people I've ever met. Big fag, but the nicest guy. And he showed something that he did on the Merv Griffin show. This is how long ago this was. He showed it to the audience. He showed it on 16 millimeter projector. And it was the Merv Griffin show he was on and Doug McClure was on, and McClure was hammered.
Yeah.
And while Merv Griffin is talking, Doug McClure is picking his nose and flicking boogers at Merv Griffin. And he introduces Pat Paulson, and he didn't see Pat Paulson when he came into the studio. Pat Paulson comes out in a tuxedo and in blackface.
Oh, geez.
And he tells a joke. He tells a Pollock joke, forgive me. And then he tells this joke. He goes, in the Hebrew calendar, it's 5742. In the Chinese calendar, it's 4752, which means for 1,000 years, Jews did their own shirts. I thought the joke should have been for 1,000 years, Jews ate nothing.
But, on Christmas,
And so then he does like a little buck and wing tap dance to end. Now, remember, Griffin had no idea this was going to happen.
Yeah.
And Griffin goes like this. That was wonderful. The Dick Cavett show will be right back. And I asked Paulson, I said, was he pissed off? He goes, no, he thought it was funny as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He loved
You could do that back then.
I got a stat for you guys.
You could do that back then.
I got a stat for you guys. Want to keep the show rolling along here. I got a stat for you guys. Ready? We're 18 weeks into 2021. Okay. On the average, there have been 10 mass shootings each week this year. That's more than one day.
Jesus.
So they count a mass shooting where either a minimum of 4 have been killed or injured.
Did you hear what happened in New York the other day?
Yeah. Was that just a random?
Yeah. 3 people were shot. Thank God none of them were
including
killed.
that child.
One was a 4-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Victims of random gun. The guy who did the shooting was trying to kill his brother.
Wow.
Okay. So the guy is black. The 3 people who were shot were white. How bad a shot is this son of a bitch?
I was going to say, yeah.
Now, here's the part that I think the only thing there's nothing funny, but the one part about this that's hysterically funny to me is if you're going to shoot people, the best thing that can happen to you is you have a name like Jim Davis.
Yeah.
Tom Smith. The guy's name is, get ready, Farrakhan Muhammad.
Oh, geez.
There aren't 2 of them in all of New York City.
No.
And they're going to get him. They know his name. You know who?
Oh, he's on the loose?
Huh?
He's on the loose?
Not now. But you know what's funny? When it's a guy like that, like a young, dumb guy, unfortunately in African-American neighborhoods, you know who turns them in? Family.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not for money.
Yeah.
Not for money, but like, no, you did something bad. No, you can't. No, I'm not going to
get out of the house. Yeah.
Yeah, get out.
Yeah. Wow.
Get out. But Farrakhan Muhammad, that Farrakhan Muhammad.
Yeah.
It can't be 2.
I think I went to school with a guy named that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the ball player, Farrakhan. No one.
Yeah.
No one. But it was 5 p.m. It wasn't like 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
No, 5 p.m.
Yeah. Jeez. Well, I mean, let's be honest. Who hasn't wanted to kill their brother on more than one occasion? But
I tried, but they kept
don't take
taking
it to the
pillow out
streets.
of my hand.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Sam, did you see the news about the Golden Globes today?
Yes.
That
NBC is not going to carry it anymore.
Yeah.
Canceled.
Just
have more diversity. It's the foreign press.
Yeah. Well, all 70 of them. Yeah.
Wow.
What they're complaining about lack of diversity.
Yeah.
I have. Yeah.
Well,
I have
that and also this little incident where one of the studios, maybe 20th Century Fox, flew like 20 of them over to this fabulous French resort and wined and dined them for 2 weeks.
They've been getting bribed for years.
Yeah, right before
the
it's not about the foreign press. It's about ratings. They're not drawing any ratings. The Oscars aren't drawing any ratings. All of these award shows are not drawing ratings at all.
Excuse.
It's just why?
Why? The reason they're not getting any ratings is because people don't want to watch those shows when they haven't seen the films.
Yeah, no one goes. There's no movies to go to. Yeah. Ours just opened up. I'm going to see that Billy Crystal, Tiffany Haddish one.
Were the reviews that good on that? I didn't think so.
I almost don't care.
Oh,
yeah. It just seems like a good show.
I like Mr. Saturday Night, so I'll watch Billy. Although I read something about Billy Crystal really bothered me. You know the story about him and Bruno Kirby?
No.
When they made City Slickers, the director was a guy named Ron Underwood. He's done some other stuff. I mean, he's not Scorsese, but he's done some other stuff. And Billy Crystal tried to direct him. To Kirby. And Kirby flipped out. Kirby said, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
I've been directed by Coppola and Scorsese. Who the hell do you think you are?
Yeah.
Michael Mann has directed me, you little shit, And he I don't know how Crystal did this, but Bruno Kirby was never for 11 years, he was never in another major motion picture again.
Wow.
And he had a big career. He had a nice career going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Donnie Brasco.
Yeah.
And he could not get arrested. He did nothing, and he died tragically, of leukemia when he was 57. But he could, and they say it was Billy Crystal's doing.
Wow.
Bruno Kirby is in one of my penultimate showbiz stories, that was when my second son was born in Los Angeles. My mother-in-law came out to help Susan with the baby because I was doing comedy and I wasn't around. So the week she was out there, I was at the Comedy Magic Club and I was working with Bob Saget. It was Bob Saget and me, and I think one of their employees was the host or something like that. They didn't have a host there. But anyway, in the dressing room with us was Bruno Kirby and Gary Shandling. They were good buddies, so they were kind of hanging out together. And Dave Coulier, who was a friend of Bob, and Susan and I, and we're all back there, and we're watching. Get this, Seinfeld's pilot for what turned out to be his show. It was called the Seinfeld Chronicles. Anyway, so we get done with the first show, and my mother-in-law comes back. They let her backstage, and she goes, I just wanted to come back and say that I thought that you were very funny. And she looks and she sees Shandling and Bruno Kirby and Bob Saget and Dave Coulier and me. She goes, "You are in show business."
Oh, that's hysterical. That's very funny.
That's my bullshit. Bruno Kirby was there for that, so he happened to be at that particular.
His father just passed away.
Who?
Bruce Kirby.
Who just passed away?
Bruno Kirby's father.
Bruce
Kirby's father. Oh, I had not heard that. Oh.
Yeah, 90 years old.
Wow. Anyway, what else we got? Let me find another news story here.
Chief Craig.
Oh yeah, our chief of police, whom Now, had you heard this, Kathy? Mayor Duggan was grooming him to be. He was informally the vice mayor, but was grooming him to follow him into office. And today he retires as police chief and announced he's a Republican.
Yeah.
And now they're speculating.
Is that a kiss of death in Detroit?
I'm sorry, what?
Is that a kiss of death in Detroit? Not Michigan.
Well, there hasn't been
Detroit.
a Republican mayor ever, I don't think.
Well, he's not running for mayor. They're saying he's going for the governorship.
Right. And it's a nonpartisan position, but the mayor
is he a Trump or is he a Republican?
He's a Trump.
Oh, he's on Fox News all the time. Oh, Craig is a Trump guy.
Oh, what a scumbag.
Yeah, he's on Fox News. He was on Jeanine Pirro Saturday night.
No,
a lot of men have been on Jeanine.
I liked him too. I thought he did a good job as police chiefs, but
Well, he had his moments. When he got off on this Antifa thing during the Black Lives Matter protests.
He wasn't going to blame Black Lives Matter, so he had to blame Antifa, I guess.
Antifa, it's like, come on.
There's a woman in my apartment building, very nice lady, got 3 kids, very nice. And right after the insurrection, she says, I'm going to tell you, I heard that it was Antifa and Black Lives Matter. And I went, did you see, normally I don't argue with these people because, what are you doing? Why don't you just, take your head and bang it against a brick wall. So, but I said to her, I said, did you see 3 black people at that insurrection? 3.
Yeah.
Well, no, but I said, do you think they went in whiteface? And another guy, this is in the laundry room. And another guy in the laundry room looks at me and goes, you're loud. He said, forgive me. I agree with you, but you were on the verge of attacking her physically.
She needed to be smacked upside the head.
Help. Black Lives Matter has offices and bank accounts and phone numbers and a physical presence.
Right.
Antifa is just there's no Antifa office. There's no. It's like
Antifa is like
to take anti-fascist
movement like racial equality. It's just a movement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not the Anti-Defamation League. It's not. It's just saying. When you say to these people, tell me the bad part about being anti-fascist.
Yeah.
Enlighten me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those people don't even know. Some people don't even know.
Hitler was a fascist. And if they say no, he wasn't, I leave. I'm done.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I had a discussion with a guy and I said, I'm just insulted that you would say Antifa. Do you know what Antifa means? Yeah. Anti-American. I go, it's anti-fascism.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's anti-fascism. I go, you just don't like it because they shorten the word. So here, I'll let one out for you. I like to call you guys, go fuck yourself up. So there, you're not
That's
shortening
punchy.
it up.
I like that. That's punchy.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself
I like
up.
the fact he thinks Antifa is anti-American. So we're the United States of fa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of fa. Oh, God.
What gets me is I never thought that we'd get to this point. Before you joined us, Sam, I was talking about how we're never going to win another war. We will never, ever win another war. It's just not going to happen. But I just can't believe we get to this point and to where people just want to deny shit.
They're too stupid. You know what it is? I said this before. Trump let the idiots who never talked before this, who you never saw on TV before this, who never went to rallies before this, he let them emerge.
Yep.
He let them emerge. When
he gave them a license. Yep.
Huh?
He gave them a license to.
Yes, he did. When Jordan Klepper, is it Klepper? Kepper.
Yeah.
Yes.
Klepper. When he's interviewing this guy and the guy says, I want to know why Barack Obama didn't do anything about 9/11. Why wasn't he in the White House? And no one can grab this guy and hold him out of an office building on the 30th floor and say he not only wasn't president, he wasn't in the Senate yet.
Yeah.
Okay. And then just drop him. Just let him go.
Yeah.
Because there's no hope. There's no hope for these people.
No.
They're stupid. Where do you get your information from? I get it from Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get it from Trump.
And did you hear that Facebook's oversight board is not going to reinstall Trump's account? And I thought, Facebook has an oversight board?
Well, they only
happen?
for 6 months. They're going to review it again. They haven't had enough time to review it. I know. Yeah.
If I have no hope for this country anymore, because I thought that Trump being in office was just going to destroy the Republican Party and just put to shame all of the Trumpers. And I was so wrong. We're a bunch of fucking idiots. I mean, it's like any more. It's got me looking up the late Reverend Jeremiah Wright, because he was vilified because he said, "God bless America, goddamn America," and now I totally agree with that sentiment.
Yeah. Well, look what they're doing to Liz Cheney, and she's never been my best friend. But for God's sake,
you know what's funny about that to me? She's to the right of anybody you know.
I know.
Especially, who is it? Slotkin? Who's her replacement now?
Stefanik.
Yeah.
Yeah, from like the Utica section of upstate New York.
Yeah.
You know what I would do if I was Lynn Cheney? I would become an independent. She's never going to become a Democrat. I'd become an independent, and that would screw the Republicans because they'd lose a seat.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They would lose a seat.
Independents get to choose who they caucus with, right? They can switch at any time.
That's right. Well, she's not going to caucus. I can't believe she would caucus with the Democrats.
No.
But you never know.
Well, I think she wants to preserve the Republican Party as
she knows it.
As she knows it. And her father, she wants to preserve her father's party.
Right, the one that shoots people in the face with drunk hunting.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, but
that's the one.
Oh, details, Sam.
Oh my God!
If you shoot someone in the face and they apologize to you, you are a prick.
Have you heard any of these discussions that George W. Bush has been having about immigration?
He's always been that way.
He's a fucking communist. Compared to the rest of the.
He's and as much of a racist goon as Reagan was, and he was in favor of loose immigration.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he said, "How can we deny these people coming in when 80% of the cities in this state are Hispanic?"
Yeah,
their names are Hispanic. How can we do this?
Yeah,
well, that is just a cover for destroying the unions.
Well, you can't have everything.
I know. It's like,
you know.
Well, I mean, we used to have open borders. We used to have open borders in the 1800s. You know.
Well, you know what he said in about African countries, right? You know, the leaders are a bunch of monkeys. Do they even wear shoes? You know.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, Trump continued this theme with the shitholes country.
Yeah, I love when he said, "Why can't we get people immigrating from Norway? They don't want to come here, General. They don't want to come here. They live in Norway. Are you kidding?"
Exactly.
God almighty.
He doesn't want immigrants. He wants beauty show contestants.
Yes.
That's why he wanted to buy Greenland.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a dope. Jesus, what a dope.
I would not have been against Greenland if it also included statehood for Puerto Rico. So
that's
there you go.
Oh, by the way, did anyone here watch what am I trying to say? Elon Musk on Saturday Night Live?
I did, yes.
I thought he did fine.
I thought so too.
I did too.
You know,
waiting for the train wreck to happen, and
the guy has Asperger's, and I've seen professional performers do much worse than him.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, he was very personable. They wrote stuff pretty much for him, which is pretty good.
No, he did fine.
He did fine. He did much
Is there
better
any
than
report
the
about how
the prompter beautifully.
How did he get along with the staff?
They said he was fine. He was okay.
Okay.
Listen, they had a deal with Steven Seagal, so next to
Yeah.
him, okay,
Yeah.
you know, please,
Yeah.
you know,
yeah.
I there's no, I look words. There aren't words. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
this guy, you know, and I'll tell you who else was horrible to the staff. Chevy Chase.
Oh,
Yeah.
his reputation is horrible.
I
Yeah.
hear that he's dying.
I hear
from
dying for years, Rimshot.
that.
I don't mean on stage, Kat.
Oh, okay.
I think it's like Parkinson's or
Oh.
you know, something like that.
Yeah.
Yesterday we watched I don't know, it came on and we were watching Peacock. Oh no, we were watching Amber Ruffin's show on Peacock. And if the way our Peacock is set up, if you just let it run, whatever is in the queue for the next show runs in. And what was in queue was the very first 1975 October episode of Saturday Night Live with George Carlin hosting and Billy Preston and
famous story about that with Billy Crystal. He was supposed to do 15 minutes, and they cut him from 15 to 10 to 5 to get on the train and go home.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a very bitter moment for him. So
you know what was a big deal for him? He was asked to do I don't know, 15 minutes at a banquet where Muhammad Ali was there. And he does a great Ali.
He sure does.
And he crushed. And Howard Cosell was there, and he booked him on that late night show that it wasn't really late night, on the show that Cosell had.
It was a variety show.
Bill Murray was on that, and Billy Crystal and the Bay City Rollers. By the way, if you don't feel old, this might help you feel old. One of the Bay City Rollers died. He was 70.
Oh, geez.
70.
I have a fraternity brother, Paul Mathis. Real quick story. He was a track star at Howard. He got married to his college sweetheart. They were living in Philadelphia. That's where he's from. He got his law degree, I think from Vanderbilt. And then they're living in, and her mother took ill. And so they moved to Greenville, Mississippi, where Elmertha is from. And they stayed. They've been there, you know, they've been married 50 years. So I said to Paul, you know, we do a Zoom meeting with my fraternity brothers on Fridays. And I said to him, well, what have you been doing? I mean, what kind of law do you practice? And he said, and the rest of the guys said, oh, that's right, Sam doesn't know. And I said, what do you do? He said, for the last 40 years, I've been the manager of the Spinners.
Oh, no, wow.
And he said there's only one original spinner left. Kimbrough was his last name. I can't remember his first name. And he said they're still performing, you know. And I said, wow, that is great.
Yeah.
You know, so for the rest of the time we were doing this Zoom, we would just stop and just start singing One of a Kind Love Affair or Mighty Love or, you know. I love the Spinners, man. I paid money to watch those guys. I love them. They're great.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. I think we had the Spinners for our theme music there for a while.
Oh.
Remember? Let's see if I got it here.
Yeah.
8:45, waiting for the subway home. Games people play, that's it.
Games people play. Right, wrong, I just can't love it.
Well, did that long? Yes.
Well, it was three different bands. It was pre-Felipe Win, and post-Felipe Win.
That's correct.
Here we go.
Felipe Soul Win. Actually, Soleil Win. There you go. Oh, is that a bass? No, No, it's a Jew's harp.
Jew's harp. Jew's harp. Sounds like it, doesn't it? I think it's a bass. Oh, there's the strings. You got the strings in the back.
Oh, Rubber Band Man, yeah.
Rubber Band Man.
All right.
Hand me down my.
Anyway, that was 1 week. I used that for our theme music. I thought that worked pretty well. That was. I tell you what, that was a time. Probably shortly. No, not shortly after that. Maybe about 7 or 8 years after that came out. That was like 76, 77. But that's when we all listened to the same music. Music had not been segregated yet.
Yeah,
that's correct.
True. Yep.
Remember that? And my girls are bringing music back together, but it's only their segregation is they only listen to female artists now. So,
Oh yeah,
wow, that's some segregation.
Yeah,
but it's all it's country, hip hop. It's all female artists, but so the segregation is among the genders, not among the
people. My daughter's age, she's 22, are so rigid in their political beliefs, and their social beliefs. It's frightening. We took Barbara out yesterday for Mother's Day. Brunch.
Speaking of that, did you?
Yes.
You're gone there, man.
How close was? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Did I leave?
We started talking about Woody Allen, and she was asking, can he get the death penalty? I mean, and I said he hasn't been convicted of anything.
Yeah,
he hasn't been convicted, indicted, nothing.
What?
Yeah,
I said, and he can't get a movie deal, and they've like very slowly been taking his movies off of premium cable, but you can still see Pulp Fiction produced by Harvey Weinstein. You can still see Rosemary's Baby directed by Roman Polanski, and he was convicted.
yeah.
Yep.
And fled the country.
Yeah.
Roman Polanski he's got Chinatown. I don't know if they'll ever get him off the air.
Boy, what an upbeat ending.
Yeah.
Yeah. How on?
Now, once again, it sounds like you're all talking through a busted radio
kids today.
Yeah, he does sound like that a little bit. What do you think? What do you think of Crystal's being attacked by because of what he said about the Oscars?
Again?
What do you think about Crystal's being attacked for what he said about the Oscars and saying that what was it?
Not enough Jews.
No, that comedy is a minefield.
Comedy is a what?
A minefield.
In what way?
That's what he was saying. That he was talking about. It was an article he did. He was promoting his movie Here Today, but it was basically he was making a comment about how difficult it is to work in the clubs these days with his material.
Well, he's right.
Well, I think he's absolutely right. Sure.
That's it. Yeah. Listen, Jerry Seinfeld and Chris Rock won't do colleges.
Yeah.
Because Seinfeld said he was doing a college, and he said this girl walked up to me, and the woman in the audience yells, "It's woman!" And see, I would have had her. I would have had her dragged out and thrown into traffic. I mean, and they showed something on Vice.
Yeah.
They showed this group from one college that said, I love this. If you start to do things that we feel make fun of transgenders or gays, we have the legal obligation or legal right, not obligation, to cut your mic and not pay you.
Yeah.
Wow.
And of course, my response would be, get an attorney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to win. I'm going to win, and you're an idiot. But now they put it in the contract.
Yeah.
What do you think of that skit on Saturday Night Live?
Contract now?
Gen Z Hospital.
So they're putting that in the contracts. If you say anything like that, you're gonna lose your money.
Yeah, So don't, so people go, well, I'm not working here. I won't play at this college.
What do you guys think
One
of
of
that?
my favorite things was, I'm sorry, go ahead, please.
What did you guys think of that skit on Saturday Night Live, Gen Z Hospital, where they had all the Gen Z characters?
Oh, that was hysterical. I thought it was pretty good.
I loved it.
Yeah, I thought they did pretty good this time around. Even the Mars thing.
I love the one where people are at a the COVID thing, and he goes, "Is she my cousin?"
Oh yeah. Who is this person? Yeah.
Or
have you noticed
that the guy puts his fingers into licks his fingers and then puts them in the peanut bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you noticed now though that the ones that they're do the best job on are the filmed ones that they don't do live in front of an audience?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean that thing with Pete Davidson plays Chad. That Chad character is a killer.
He's terrific.
He is.
That was hysterical.
I think he's terrific. That King of Staten Island, that was a terrific film.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix. It's wonderful. He's really good.
I'll check it out.
It's worth it. He's in it. Bill Burr plays a firefighter who's dating his mom. It's supposed to be like him. He lost his father in 9/11.
Oh, okay.
And he gets joked about it. He said he was doing a roast, and he said, it was for Alec Baldwin. And he said, I was flying from LA to here, and there was an Alec Baldwin movie on. That was the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my life involving a plane.
Oh,
and there was a joke in the movie King of Staten Island where his friends, they're all getting high. They get high constantly, and they go, knock, knock, who's there? Not your father. He was like 6, I think, 5 or 6 when his dad died, and he was he's a firefighter.
Yeah.
Oh.
God.
Well, do we have any other things that we have to resolve and solve before we call it a night here?
I'm missing Hannity.
Oh wow!
I saw an ad run across my YouTube channel.
A friend of mine has blocked me on Facebook because I said to him. I said this to him several months ago. I said, I understand that people love their parents. I do. But I happen to know some of these guys and women, not many, who talk about their parents on on Facebook, and they go how much they miss them. And I know them. I know they had no good relationship with their parents. I know this.
Yeah.
And they're just so, and I know this one guy who blocked me. I said, you did not get along with your mother. Why do you put shit out there like she was great? I said, well, I said, are you trying to get attention? Do what Larry Ambrose does. Write some funny stuff.
Yeah.
Your mother wasn't a nice person. I mean, so sure enough, on Mother's Day, he says, my mom was a saint. I miss her. And I wrote in, well, then you should aim better.
I saw
Your mother
that.
was Joan Crawford, for God's sake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Your mother, Joan Crawford, thought she was a bad parent. Okay?
Yeah.
My parents are both gone, and but I see them every day, and they're constantly complaining, "Get out of my head, or I'll charge you rent for crying out loud." Anyway,
hit the bricks.
Hit the bricks.
Yeah.
I'm living the way I want to live. Get out of my head.
Yeah.
My kids for Mother's Day yesterday, my kids did a great job. This was Susan's first Mother's Day since her mother passed, and so this is her first Mother's Day without a mother. So she's now she's the matron of the family, and the kids did a great job. They did I applaud them we've done something right. They treated
you go.
really well. Yeah, so
yeah,
I
I was very proud of Cass. She was taking this course where she had to take a test on how to construct an annotated bibliography.
Oh God.
Yeah,
They still do that? Yeah.
My words exactly.
Yeah.
And it was really frustrating her. And she has anxiety issues.
Yeah.
And she called me, she was crying. And I said, listen, I'm going to tell you something I really believe. Study and do the best you can. And if that's not enough, then it's not enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Exactly. Just do the best. If you tell me that you gave it everything you had and you did the best you can, then that's it. Okay. I don't care if you get a 70. If then that's it. She got a 91.
There you go.
So I said, I can't fucking believe it. You're so stupid. No,
yeah.
I said,
what the hell? That's mediocre.
You're an idiot. No, so I said, we were thrilled for her.
Yeah.
Thrilled for her. People underestimate positive reinforcement.
I remember my daughter was having trouble with in one of her classes, which will remain nameless, but and it was constant conflict, and the teacher this and the teacher that. And finally she comes home one day and she says, "Oh my God, Mrs. Green's out for the rest of the semester. She fell down the stairs and broke her leg." I said, "Please tell me you had nothing to do with it."
Yeah.
Wouldn't it have been great if she had said, "Well, define nothing"?
Yeah, that's about it. Oh, God.
No, I was at the top of the stairs. Never mind. I got to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't want to be an accessory to this. Don't tell me.
I'll do a Richard Widmark impression. Come on.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Now, if you know what that is, you are old. You are old.
I am.
If you know what I'm talking about, you are old. There we go.
I'm old.
My sixth grade
great actor.
My sixth grade teacher was Sister Agnes at St. Benedict's in Pine, Michigan. And stone face the entire year. And we're into the first week in June, last week of school, or maybe the second last week, but it was the last Friday. And I said, boy, this is going to be the last time I say TGIF until next year. And I just look over and she's got a grin on her face and she's kind of smirking. Like, I get the joke, Sweetman type of thing. But she didn't want me to see. And so I saw it and she kind of looked that I saw her smile. This is a nun that didn't smile for the whole year.
Did you ever see
And I said, hey, I made Sister Agnes laugh.
Yeah.
That was when I realized. The what?
That was amazing.
The what heart?
What? Dolores Hart.
Anyway,
She's
so
oh yeah.
Oh no, I never did.
And
okay. But anyway, I realized at that point I had gone too far, and one joke that made Sister Agnes laugh was I would get away with, but pointing it out to everybody in class that I made her laugh.
Yeah.
For that, so.
I used to teach a comedy class, and there was a guy in the class, and he did a joke about, confession, right? And his sister,
okay.
This is a guy who, I think at the time he was in his 40s, never married, no woman in sight. His sister, very plain, kind of pudgy, no guy in sight. And they lived together. No, nothing went on, but they lived together. And when he started to do the joke about confession, she got up. She didn't storm out, but she left. She went into the bar area of the comedy club. So when someone else was on, I walked up to her and I said, "Is everything okay?" She says, "I will not tolerate anyone making any jokes about God." And my wife heard this and she said, they're going to find them dead in a murder-suicide pact.
Yeah.
Okay. When they're about 60.
Yeah.
They're going to find them dead. And there's going to be a cat eating one of their legs.
Yeah.
And I said, you could have stopped at the pact.
Just one cat?
What cat? You know that joke, right? The guy calls his house and a maid answers. You know that one. And she says, "Sir, I don't want to tell you this, but your wife's having sex with another man." "Really? I want you to go upstairs and kill them both." So she does. And she comes back downstairs. He says, "Now, bundle them up and throw them in the pool." "What pool? Is this 482?" Is this, wow, 1 minute and hour and 25. We're cooking.
Yeah.
We are cooking. Well, I think I'm going to wrap up the live portion of it here. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us for the off minute.
Okay.
It's where the comics gather. Would you like to get on and join us here? We welcome guests, that's for sure. These four come together every week, and they're knowledgeable and comedians, and they're funny and knowledgeable. So that's why we keep them together.
Isn't that all you need out of life?
Yeah,
it is all you need.
They're like Wiki. They're like Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Think about how many people we know in our lives who are funny and dumb.
Exactly.
There aren't many people funny and dumb.
No,
because you have to be smart to have a sense of
Wikipedia. Actually, when it's comics do know a lot. It's more like Quikipedia because we're all quick and fast on our feet.
No. I mean, that's why we know Trump is stupid. He has no sense of humor.
No sense of humor, exactly.
And also, huh?
Someone pointed that out very early with him.
I've never seen
there are
him
some
smile.
trademark instances. When he was getting insulted by Seth Meyers and Barack Obama,
that's when you knew.
He could not laugh. He can't. It's a forced smile.
Steaming.
Have you ever seen him?
Yeah.
Oh my God! And not only that, and he like dogs. He can't have a pet. There's something seriously wrong with a dude that can't laugh and can't have a pet.
When Myers called him, his running for president was and the next day said Seth Meyers is a third-rate comic. I went, wow, he's stupid.
Yeah,
that was the first thing. And of course, when Obama went, "Well played, sir," because he fired Gary, what's his name, Busey, well played, sir, very presidential, well played. And he was first of all, he was steaming for two reasons. Number one, he doesn't like being made fun of, and two, it was a black guy doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a black guy who's smarter than him and who the nation adores.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he wasn't even born here.
Yeah. So let's take Obama. Let's take Seth Meyers and Obama out of it, and you've got Trump and Hillary Clinton at the archdiocese roast that they do during the campaign every year. You know more than I would. It's in New York.
Talking about,
Sam. You know that the thing that the Archbishop and
the Al Smith
and it's
dinner.
supposed to be funny. The Al Smith dinner, exactly, and what's her name? Clinton gets up there, and she does. She's not hilarious, but she does what she's supposed to do. She gets up there and does a lot of joking and roasting, and everybody's having a good time. Trump gets up there and just talks about himself.
Yeah.
And it was, and he thought what he was saying was funny. It wasn't even close. It wasn't.
When they roasted him on Comedy Central,
he didn't laugh at that
as we
either.
all know, the tradition is you get up and then you shit on if you're the roastee, you get up and then shit on everybody else, right? He gets up and he says, and I quote, "I just want everybody to know I'm worth $7 billion fucking dollars." Oh, that is a knee slap. Well, it's funny because he's not.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's pathetic how stupid he is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, I love the dress that Melania wore to the Al Smith dinner that night. It was cut down to her navel, and I thought, the Cardinal's sitting next to you, don't you?
Yeah, she's not religious because she asked him, "Would you like to cop a feel?"
Exactly.
That's how you know.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought, did anybody tell you who you were going to dinner with? Jeez.
Yeah, that would have changed her mind.
Yeah, true. But it's like
she would have had to cut further down.
Yeah, exactly.
I just realized how round my head is. Jesus. I can't get over this.
You're not ready for your close-up there, Sam. Now
Have you had a haircut, Sam?
God.
Sorry.
Stop.
Did you have a haircut recently, Sam? Did you have a haircut recently?
3 weeks ago.
Ah, okay. So
I shaved.
Your face looks like a live emoji, Sam. You look like.
I know. I look like I should be like this.
Or with your tongue hanging out.
Yeah.
Did you see the thing on CBS Sunday Morning about the woman who invented emojis?
Yes, wasn't that fascinating? I love that show.
That now it's diverse because, as we all do, we know African American people, and when they do the thumbs up, it's brown.
Yeah.
Which I think is good. That's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But they will never, ever, I can only speak for myself, do an accurate emoji of how I look. I mean, God bless them. They try, but no. Barbara's looks like the late Nicolette Larson. I mean, it's not there.
Yeah.
And I sent you that picture, Mark, of us at the brunch. That's what Barbara looks like.
That's a great picture. You guys are a good-looking family.
Well, I'm very lucky. I'm a very lucky guy to have them. They both. The thing I love about this, my friends don't believe I'm okay with this. When we go out to eat, they give me so much shit. they hammer me. And they go, I can't believe you take it. I go, you understand that's my wife and daughter. It's not like I can say, I go fuck you, and then I don't see them again.
Yeah.
And especially now, my daughter just,
I thought it was interesting that the way you guys framed and posed in that photo. At first I thought you were making fun of the Biden's and Carter's picture where the Biden's over that, because you put Cassie in front and you're in the back. So
Cassie did. I'm so paranoid if she hears me call her Cassie. Cassie did the she did the selfie. So that's why she's prominent. And Barbara was the guest of honor because it's Mother's Day. And just like Joseph in the Bible, they shoved my ass in the back. Well, you talk about disrespect. No, it's not your child. Well, whose child is it? God? Yes. Oh, come on. They did that on, remember Family Guy?
Yeah.
Where Brian loses a girl to this guy, and the guy is wonderful. He can speak French. He saves a waiter from being burned alive. So he gets up to go to the bathroom, and Brian says, I'm going in there with him. I want to see if he's better than me in every respect. So he follows him into the bathroom. Now, they don't show this, of course, but he goes to the bathroom. 3 seconds goes by, and Brian goes, oh, come on. Oh, God, that was funny. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Well, gang, we put in 90 minutes. I think we're going to let our live audience go, and we'll chat amongst ourselves. Again, get in touch with me if you want to join us here on a Monday night. It's off nights, and if you're funny, now we've tried to get younger people on here. It seems like the ones that are able to last are those of us that lived a little bit of life and have been able to make people
movies. If you know movies, you'll stay in.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, good night, everybody. We'll see you next Monday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. And stick around, everybody else, and we'll chat after we're off.